This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Monument, Colorado. We are here at Key Lingo Translations. Since 2004, this company has been helping businesses everywhere do business anywhere. I am here, first of all, with the two of you. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to start out, first of all, Dale, let me ask you, basically, why did you decide to partner up with Key Lingo and start offering this service in this industry?
Key Lingo had a new concept in this industry in terms of being able to offer the technology and the key support that is so necessary to a quality translation, while at the same time being able, in their unique model, to provide very individualized, local, personalized service, which is different from a larger company that traditionally was in the industry.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, communication is the lifeblood of any transaction, so therefore it's the lifeblood of any company. Why are companies needing a service like this, possibly today more than ever before?
We do live in a very global world. Everybody and anything is interconnected with each other. We love to work with people who actually value this, who do know that diversification as well as globalization is the only way, is the key to success. And as you already mentioned, sir, very nicely, it's the communication. It's not only the language, it's the lingo. It's attracting, is really addressing the customer or your audience with the right lingo so they understand you, they understand what's going on.
Wonderful. Let me ask you this right now. Walk me through a scenario, just one scenario where possibly a company may be in need of a service like this.
I'll try to focus on one where it was a technology type of translation. It was an operations manual, an international franchisee who was trying to do some training and set up operations here, and they needed this manual translated. It required very technical knowledge. It must be precise because it covered the entire operation, and it included a lot of graphics and everything else. So we had to coordinate very closely with them as to what they really needed and how this would be utilized. And then during the translation process, using their original documents, our translators discovered some technical concerns that went back to the company and in clarification determined that the original documents actually had errors, and we were able to correct those errors so that they basically improved the efficiency of their operations through this translation.
Interesting. I mean, even though this has been regarded as the world's second oldest profession, quite honestly, there's businesses out there that really do not understand fully what it is you offer and serve. So let me ask you this, much less in choosing a company like this, what should businesses look for in a company when they decide to find your services?
Definitely, I come back to the word value. They need to understand what damage a bad translation can do for any business. Nobody can afford a lawsuit nowadays anymore. Definitely not today when you see the numbers. What we do, and that's the success, as Dale already pointed out in one example, is that we do not just, first of all, choose any translators. We only recruit the best. We have more than 4,000 translators working worldwide, allowing us to pick and choose the exact translator or team of translators using and targeting your audience, your project, depending on your desires, your outcome, your mission statement, whatever is important to you. What is important to us does not matter. It is secondary, maybe even less than that. What's important is we do have you in mind, and we give our, maybe not lifeblood, but our definitely everything that we have and we are used to, both Dale and myself, used to work on an international plateau speak various languages ourselves, so we know what's at stake. We know what to look out for, and we will take care of you from A to Z.
Wonderful. Let's be clear here then, folks. We are talking about the majority of the work you work here is professional human translators. We're not talking about machines here. Many people talk about machines replacing human translators. We're talking about professional humans.
Absolutely. In fact, Key Lingo does not use machine translation at all. It is 100% human translation with multiple levels of editing and quality review checks to ensure that that quality is there.
So quite honestly, a machine translation is nothing more than a tool to use so that your professionals can basically get in there and understand, like you said, your exact market of who you're dealing with. Let's jump in a little bit to these services. When I think of communication, it gets a little overwhelming about how much we're really out there communicating with folks. Even before that transaction takes place, before we even knock on that door, we're talking about marketing, advertising. Are these areas that you're able to help with?
Definitely, we do so. And the numbers speak for themselves. We have all types of clients. Some clients who don't even have any interest to go on a global plateau. Those are the clients, type A, that want to diversify, that do understand the importance of reaching out to a diversified group of population that just acts and reacts very different when addressed in their native tongue. The other group of people, of course, are the people that are right now nationally and want to go internationally. And then the third group of people, of course, value the communication tools in the translation world by diversifying again and adding new languages, new because they enter new markets. I don't have to tell you the word China. Just
Absolutely.
That's one example where the big money is nowadays.
Wonderful. One of the first places that really, when your advertising and marketing is working, the first place a lot of folks go is your website. What do you offer in the way of website translation?
We offer complete website translation. We can do localization service to make sure that, for instance, Spanish, and there's so many different variations to Spanish, whether you're talking Latin America, Mexico in particular, or Spain, etc. So we do try to make sure that that if you're on there, you understand in your terminology. And when we do that as well, it includes looking at the population and the amount of people that are shopping on the internet and the web. And to be precise, 50% of all internet users, shoppers, can be covered with 4 languages. And so we try to tell all our people that are marketing, if they target those, they can increase their population for minimum investment to see a great return on their investment. And that includes English, Chinese, Japanese, and German. Those 4 languages cover 50% of the internet market out there.
That is amazing.
And regrettably, most people do not have their websites in more than 1, maybe 2 of those 4 languages. So it doesn't take much more to reach out and get a huge return on a small investment in terms of that market.
Improve your numbers greatly. Wonderful. One of the places I see that communication, translation needs to be very precise is that in a legal world, litigation. What do you have for folks as well?
Definitely the legal world. We had one case, actually one of our first cases, and unfortunately they used one of the machine translations before and really got into some big trouble. But otherwise, we focus on anything and specialize everything that is important to you. So far, we can do, like we already mentioned, website translation. We do legal. And even, let's maybe even stick with the legal word. The legal word can be, that's why we have lawyers of all different facets and categories, adoption laws. Very often you have 2, 3, sometimes even 4 different countries being involved. One of our most successful cases, but also a case that really required from us a lot of additional work, and that's what we are also very proud of at Key Lingo. We only charge you for the translation. We do not charge you when we get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and call Germany to help you out and talk to a judge for you. So there are many, many other forms, like my husband mentioned, the technical part. There are people who come, with all kinds of different things. Selling things is so easy, in quotation marks, as my husband pointed out, because your inventory doesn't sell. As in, if you do not approach it nowadays with one easy solution, have the little flags, have the different countries, like my husband mentioned before, presented, because your inventory doesn't change. You sell that same inventory, but very successfully and with an ROI much higher than ever seen before, just by using it and having your website translation available.
Interesting. So basically, we're talking about translation is covered here, be it advertising, marketing to the masses, but also even a one-on-one, in-person, over the phone, you're able to provide that as well.
We can. There is some caveats to that. We do have a service, interpretation 24/7 with a minimum lead time for most languages, and it's like a conference call. So you get your business partner, whoever you're working with in that conference call with your interpreter, and it's a three-way conference call or multiple. It can be more than that. So that is available. This is still sometimes difficult because it's not instantaneous translation. But yes, we also offer that, and we do have a couple of clients who have taken that as, I will say, more of an insurance. They travel a lot extensively in multiple countries, and there has just been instances, never something that was planned, where they run into I don't exactly understand, I'm not sure we're communicating. And this is a case where they could simply use this to call up an interpreter and then make sure that this business meeting, this conference that they're attending, whatever, that they are truly understanding and communicating like they need to.
Wow, I mean, the world is absolutely getting smaller. And obviously, as it does, basically you have relationships, you have international marriage, like you mentioned earlier, adoption that can take place. You're able to offer those certified translations for those groups as well.
Absolutely. It is very important to our clients. When they choose Key Lingo, they know they're not just choosing any translation company from, on the yellow pages or wherever else they find services similar to ours. What really differentiates us is that we do business with big companies, Coca-Cola, Ferrari, etc., but we also value everybody that comes to us. We have wonderful relationships with the embassies here. We are a member of many bigger and smaller, like the German American Chamber, Metro Chamber, but of course also the international companies here, and really want to give everyone the feeling that you are not just a number. Your project we take you up and you become our baby. I'm not using the term you're becoming our family. Too many people do that. No, we rather even take it, we pamper you, we take care of you, and make sure that whatever you envision is being made possible. Dale was wonderfully explaining this, what we're doing and how we're doing, because we found, first of all, we are passionate about what we are doing because we know our why. We found our why. But what Dale was saying, that I explained something very modestly, let me add something to you. What Key Lingo Translations here, what we can do as a team for you, is not just finding maybe a flaw in your source file, but what we are able to do is also finding out exactly what is needed and thus save you money. We are talking here real US American dollars. And on top of it, if that's not convincing enough to you, of course we have memory translation. So don't be just one customer to us, be a customer that comes back at all time.
They're basically going to take you, pamper you, make sure it's all within budget, They are not afraid of hitting deadlines out there. They've done a lot of work for folks. Matter of fact, if you take a look at the bottom of the screen right there, you're going to check out their website. On the website, you're going to get a good glance there at some of the clients that they have worked with. You're also going to see in detail some of the services that they're able to provide for you. Keep in mind, like they said, they're dealing with over 4,000 professional translators that they personally can handpick and make sure it is a proper, precise, custom for your company and your business. Anything out there that we have left out for the folks who are thinking about possibly looking for your service and bringing you on board?
My wife is explaining, but maybe a little modestly, one of the cases, and we've talked about it here, but I just wanted to emphasize the lengths that we go to ensure our clients receive the service they need. It was a legal adoption, citizenship case, and she made multiple phone calls to a German embassy to make sure we knew what their requirements was, as well as to Germany itself to speak to the legal office there. And it was a three-way. It involved English, Chinese, and German in terms of the legal documents, translation back and forth. And this is what we do. It's not just translating those documents. It is making sure that we know what the requirements are at all ends, and that customer, when they're done, gets what they're looking for. So that is what my wife did in this case, and I think that's pretty amazing.
It is very amazing. So you're talking about you are committed to the relationship behind that translation, and that really is what sets you apart.
All right, well, my father is actually former military, something he probably didn't mention. Air Force for 25, and with those you also gain experience. And one I think is very important, being a former international studies major in international relations, is that it's not just about understanding the language, because the language itself is only a language. When you understand a language, you also understand the people's culture. And wanting to be a future diplomat myself, I realized that you have to go over and beyond. And my parents not only do that if they don't understand the culture, they look it up, they learn about it, they ask people, but on the other side, they do have that experience from the countries we have lived in, such as Germany, Belgium, Italy. We've lived all over the States. My mother alone speaks 5 languages. I got 3 under my belt, so I haven't caught up just yet, but the fact is that it's also about the culture, because like my father said previously, even in Spain, you have 2 different kinds of Spanish alone. If you don't know that, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble, or even, it doesn't have to be trouble, but there's just conflict. And for me, the less conflict in the world, to be honest, the better. I would love world peace, and I think it would start first and foremost if we started learning each other's languages, because that, like I said, is each other's cultures.
So you're basically saying it's more than just understanding the language, it's actually deeper because you're understanding the culture behind that language.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I mean, if you don't know their language, then you don't understand the lingo, as we said, and the lingo is so much more. It's how you greet someone. You can have also cultural differences in the fact that there's also regional languages. Even in Germany alone, you have different regions who will greet each other, and if you can just let people know that you know that and show them that you care, it's all about caring. I think if you take the time, and I know my parents definitely do. I mean, I know, once again, they're very modest. They'll stay up late into the night or even in the morning, or will be up early just to get that phone call in another country or continent, and that's a lot of sleep kind of goes away from that. But
You guys are basically open 24 hours because the world is open 24 hours.
yeah, you can't, I mean, if we didn't do that, then we wouldn't be doing what we say, and so they definitely keep true to their word.
Wonderful. Last time, folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see their contact information right there. Keep in mind, again, that is Key Lingo Translations. When lingo is key, turn to Key Lingo. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.